So I am here with the lovely Miss Erica London, who wrote an absolutely beautiful children's book called Missing You. And we're going to talk to her about why she wrote the book, what inspired her, what her plans for the future are in terms of her writing projects, and just anything else that comes up. So thanks for joining us. You transitioned from the dental and medical field to writing children's books. Like, what prompted that? What was the catalyst?
Okay, so what happened was the schools had closed in the province of Ontario due to COVID, which required the children to now have to be home to do virtual learning, which would also then mean that parents would have to make the decision to ultimately stay home. Now, being in a two-parent household, you're fortunate to have the option of choosing who that's going to be for children that grew up or grow up or currently are in single parent households. It's very difficult to now have a mother or father having to leave their job to stay home. So I was the one who had to stay home. So it would have just been easier because it would have been more work for me.
Okay.
Come home and just have too much more work to do. It's just, yeah.
To do.
So I was like, you go to work, I'll stay home. And initially, being a career woman as such, it was very different for me, and I did not take it very well. I would be lying if I said I didn't cry secretly for a month, wondering how in the world I was going to balance my new norm. And then on top of that, realizing that my children were actually struggling in school. So, it was like a blessing in disguise. I always say the Lord always works things out, and he truly did in this case. I was now home and had the opportunity to ensure that that my children were able to get a hold and take ownership of their education, being as young as they were. And the YouTube, like I have a YouTube channel as well. And what happened was I realized that they were having difficulty with reading. So I wanted to make it fun. I started the YouTube channel. During all that, my uncle ended up passing away. And that's what started really got the train moving. Because when I was younger, that same situation had happened to me with a family member of mine passing away. And I felt as though I was kind of lost in the mix, at least my sister and I. Nothing was really explained to us as to what had transpired, how we felt. And moving, years forward, me having a family of my own, I wanted to change that narrative for my children. So that's how the book and the channel and everything came about.
Wow. And how old are your children? The ages?
Okay, let me get this right. Hold on. Because their birthdays are all 15, 8, 7. No, 15, 8, 6, and 4.
Wow. 4 children. That is awesome. And, and when I was reading your book, literally just the whole idea, it starts out where a little girl is wondering where her uncle went. And she's just like, where are you? Like, are you in the closet? Or and I'm sure for kids, when you lose someone, that's probably something that you're thinking like, wait, what happened? Like some things suddenly changed. And I appreciate how you were saying, parents, this is what you can do toward the end of the book. And so why is it important for parents to just be honest and forthright with the loss that their kids are going to be grieving?
I think that children are more keen. You cannot underestimate them, especially in this day and age, this society that we live in. They see so many things, and you want to be able to prevent them coming up with their own interpretation. And you want to be able to give your children the explanation before they come home with, the questions. You know, I don't know if it's a West Indian thing where, you know, the parents are more, they shelter.
Mm,
It's not so much explaining, but a lot of sheltering. I'm protecting you from what you shouldn't be hearing or what you shouldn't be listening. But really, if I go out there and I'm hearing, I'm going to think that what I'm hearing is the right thing, you know?
yeah,
And I want to be able to create a platform um, where parents can, it's hard to bring up these topics. And
yeah,
I want people to feel comfortable to bring up topics such as this. Like the books to follow are not pertaining to death, but they are pertaining to real life issues and situations that may occur and arise that I believe need to be addressed.
yeah. And what might be an example of that? Like,
Well, my second book that I have coming out in December is called Stuck in the Middle, and that book is solely written for middle children. You know, you have an older sibling, then you have a younger sibling coming behind you. Nobody's paying attention to you. At least that's what at
yeah,
least that's what they think, you know. It actually, in most cases, it really is the truth. It was very hard for me to create that balance, especially as you hear the age difference between the children, and still having my third child feel that she was just as important as the two and even the one coming behind her, you know. And these are these struggles that parents face
okay.
when having multiple children. That is what the second book is about. Now, that book I did a little more lighthearted in nature to make it more fun, because I don't want all the books to be sad, you
Well,
know?
first of all, the illustrations are fantastic. And I was going to ask you,
Listen,
your illustrator, how did you find her?
honey, let me tell you my testimony with this illustrator, okay?
Yes.
So remember, I'm new at this, never published before. I found an American publishing house, of whom I will not mention.
Yeah.
And um, along with going with this publishing house, they had an illustrator within the package. Now, I should have realized the kind of, you know, the red flags with them saying that, you know, there was no need for me to see the illustrator's work. And they would essentially judge what illustrator I needed from reading my manuscript. Long story short, I get the final illustrations. I spent 2 days crying. And I told my husband, I said, nobody's going to buy this. And I don't want anybody buying this book out of pity, like, oh gosh, Erica made a book. Let me buy the book. You know, sorry. The
Yeah.
Trini will come out now and again. Okay,
Yeah.
I apologize. Actually, you know what? I'm not apologizing.
No,
for my
don't
Trini heritage.
apologize.
There we go.
No.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Like, oh gosh, darling, you make a book or I'll buy, and then you like fling the book to the wayside. No, I
Yeah.
want you to buy the book because it means something and you will be able to use it. So I essentially told the publishing house, listen, I can't use this. I ended up having to pay another illustrator to find these books. So I had a web designer. She suggested this illustrator. Found her on Instagram, people. Okay, this woman lives all the way in Portugal. I've never met her. I sent her my manuscript. She just gave me basic rough sketches, and I'm telling you, all the like the detail on the wall. Like, do you see how the flags on the wall? Like, one was a Trinidadian flag, one was an Irish flag, because my
Wow.
uncle's from Ireland. She got all of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, God, you are so good. Like, imagine I went through all this trial
Yeah.
for this to be the end result. It was so worth it. And everyone that sees the book, they're like, Erica, these illustrations, they're amazing. And
Yeah.
she's illustrating the second book. Let's just put
Good.
it that way.
Yeah, just keep that relationship going.
Yeah,
You know,
let's just keep that together.
she gets it. She gets it. No, that I
Right.
mean, and I mean, when I talk to writers all the time, you hear these stories about how things just came together for the book, like
Mhm.
moving pieces, everything just worked out. So that was a great example with your illustrator. But in terms of the book and writing it, how did things just come together for you? Do you have any stories with that or anything interesting?
The creating the manuscript for the book, I knew that I wanted it to be in the form of a poem because children's attention span is extremely short. I didn't want it to be drawn out. I wanted to get straight to the point, but so that's why it's in the form of a poem. The facts and questions and tips and whatnot at the end are more so for the parent, teacher, counselor, if they need assistance in kind of easing into the topic. And I wrote, believe it or not, I did that book in about maybe 2 days.
Sometimes it comes to you.
Listen, it just did. It did.
Yeah.
I've always written poems as a young child, and regretfully, I don't know what happened to those books. I wish I had them. I remember some of them. I even have like some old agendas from when I was in high school of poems I had written. I said, yeah, okay, one day I'll get to you, but right now we're going to keep it on the kids. But yeah, it just, writing poems are, once you get the hang of it, it's
yeah, it flows. It flows.
It flows. Yeah. Put in a nice song, you're in your zone, and you just, before you know it, it's done.
Exactly. No, I mean, the book is great, and you're coming out with your second book. And so you also, on your platform, you talk to other authors as well who are doing children's book and those type of things. Tell us about that now. That's been rewarding for you.
It is so rewarding. And, I'm so grateful for so many things and in so many ways, because I started this whole adventure, this journey, December of 2020. And the amount of things that I've been able to accomplish, I know there are people, it takes them years to accomplish what I've accomplished. And I know that it's like, it can only be God, honestly.
Yeah.
And also in knowing that my motive for doing it, I don't want to make money off of my uncle's death. Like, that's the last thing from my mind. But there's like a yearning in my heart to be able to help families, because I know I wasn't the only one. I'm not the only one going through this. I know it for a fact. There are people out there that have no one to talk to. There are children out there that are like listening at the crease in the door while the parents are talking of what has happened. And you listen, I was one of those kids. I know all the tricks to listening to conversations, okay? We hear, these children hear things. And I'm like, I had to really put myself in the place of a child. Even when writing the book, you'll notice within the whole book, nobody's addressing the child. This child is observing everything. And not one person has ever said, honey, this is what happened. How do you feel? You know? And I wanted to make that abundantly clear in the illustrations, because that's how I felt as a child.
Like kind of on the outside looking in.
Yes. So now with the illustrators, I want to be able to give indie authors that platform as well. It could be covering anything, really, but just being able to give them the opportunity to let their voices be heard.
And there's such a space for that. We do a lot of that work at A Knowing Spirit. We literally, hey, if you want to write something or you have something to share, we do that. And you specifically do it for children's book, which is awesome. I know so many authors who have children's book who would love to be on your platform. So that
my gosh, give them my number. Give them my I won't bite.
I will be in contact with you.
Yes, for sure. I am always willing to extend a hand, because everyone needs a chance. Everyone needs a chance.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's room. There's room.
There is room. There's room for everyone. Yeah.
There is.
There's so much creativity, especially within our community. We just have to embrace it. So COVID, let's talk about that.
Yes.
How has that been? We have to take a deep dive. What was one of the tribulations during COVID, but then also one of the upsides for COVID?
You really want me to get into that? You're ready?
You want to.
I hope you made some tea. I hope you made some tea.
We're ready.
Okay.
We're ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here you go. Okay. This is going to be the very first time, and I actually have a live that I have to do on Instagram with someone who was my branding consultant when I was starting this whole thing. And I've never spoken to anybody about this before. You will be the first.
Okay.
Let me tell you what really happened, COVID, okay? I was working in a dental office, this particular office, for 5.5 years. My employer decided she wanted to sell the practice. She ensured all of her employees that our jobs would be secure. So she hired another dentist to take over the practice with his existing staff to come and work. So we're talking, this is, she sold it January 2019. Okay. By February, I'm not even going to talk about the incident. February, I'm getting ready to leave. He calls me into his office. And I said, listen, I'm so sorry. It's 7 o'clock. My husband and my children are waiting outside for me. I really need to go. Is it possible that we talk about whatever you need to speak about tomorrow when I, return? This man raised his voice, yelled at me, saying he was the owner of the practice and he demanded to speak to me right away. So I was like, you ain't talking to me like that. I started to get all,
Yeah.
Anyways, the man shoved a piece of paper in my face. He fired me. When I asked this man why he fired me, this man told me I was too smart.
Oh.
No cause. You're too smart. I can't have you around. I was like, okay. So I called my employer, the one who had sold the practice. And of course, the superlatives started coming out because she had no idea because she was no longer the owner. I decided to put my big girl boots on. And even though he did that and didn't want to pay me my severance pay, he wanted me to work out the 5.5 weeks, which would have been equivalent to 5.5 years, right? That's how you do the payout. So he didn't expect me to return to work. Maybe, I don't know what kind of Black people he knew. Sorry, guys, but I just got to be straight up with you. I was very professional. Honey, I went to work. I had my bag. I went in the car. I told my husband what happened. He's like, are you going to work tomorrow? I was like, yes, I need my money. I need to get paid. So I went to work. The new owner did not like the fact that I returned. Wouldn't you know that March is when everything got shut down? Everything in the province got shut down. So even if I was still working there, I would have had to stay home.
Yeah.
Because my husband was considered an essential worker, he had to continue working, which was one of the reasons why I still ended up staying. And I was even more distraught after because I had the opportunity to kind of sit down and be like, what really happened these past couple of weeks? Like, I was promised a job, that everything was going to be secure. This is what happens when you put your faith and your trust in man, eh?
Yeah.
I don't want to start to preach, but you know what I'm saying?
No,
I put all my eggs in one basket. This man come tell me I don't have no job. I was like, Lord have mercy, these 4 bag of children I have at home to feed now and bills to pay.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, let me tell you how wicked this man was. So we have like EI, which is employment insurance. It comes out of your check every time you get paid. He went as far as to contact Service Ontario and lied on me and said that I was threatening the staff in the office, and that's the reason why the government shouldn't pay me my employment insurance.
Wait,
yes,
threatening the staff. Okay,
yes,
cool. I believe you. Okay,
right, which led to an investigation, which also led to a delay in me even receiving my funds and getting paid.
Wow.
That's only the half. Anyways, this is what led to me now being at home, all depressed, wondering, aside from now realizing one of my children they don't even know the difference between 25 and 52. I'm like, what am I sending you to school for? So
wow.
Now having to focus on the education and the reading and me feeling guilty as a parent that I was so focused on my career that I didn't realize that my children were, falling behind in
Yeah.
school. The 4-year-old was what, 2.5, going on 3, wasn't even in school at the time. So it was a lot on my shoulders. And then having my uncle being sick as well. So I was even in writing the book, that's why I told you it took me like 2 days to write the book, because I was just so fueled. It
Yeah.
was like pain, anger, everything. I was like, no, I'm going to get this done. I have to do something with this time that I have. And for anybody during this period of time, because some people are still experiencing their jobs, being shut down, closures, working from home, this is a perfect opportunity for you. Take it from me to press that reset button. I literally felt like the world was on pause for a year. That was a perfect opportunity. If you had any business idea, even if you didn't have the money,
Yes.
plan it, write it down, pray about it, believe on it. Because that was, I believe, many businesses that people I'm even meeting now with promoting the book. Oh, how long ago did your business start? Oh, just last year. I'm like, you too? You know how many times I'm like, you too? Like
Yeah.
last year? This disease that was supposed to be a curse, that is a curse from the pit of hell, but has caused that lily to like bloom, has caused so many people to see so much in themselves and about themselves, to know that you could really accomplish anything with nothing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Clearly
Yeah.
just walking out on faith during this whole
Oh
process.
yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
your story is amazing because you, a mother of 4, who literally is like, okay, what am I going to do? So you started teaching, you started writing, you did all of these things, and it all lined up. Like your vision lined up with helping your children. And I kind of feel like
Yeah.
when it's for you, it will all work.
Yeah. You know that song, what God has for me, it is for me.
Yes. Yes. I know
Right.
that song.
Listen, that was my
Absolutely.
song.
And you
That
can
was my
sing
song.
too. Okay, what's happening here?
Yeah, I actually recorded a song to go with the book.
What?
You didn't know that?
I
Yes.
didn't know that.
I wrote a song to go with the book, and I recorded it with my cousin. Actually produced the book. He's a really good produced the song. Sorry, he's a really good producer. Shout out to David Neal, and his one of another Canadian local artist sang along with me, who happens to be a family friend. And
not a day goes by without missing you. Taking photographs, taking pictures, selfie after selfie, all the fun we had. I know it's like I disappeared right off the map. I guess it was my season, but I still didn't plan on leaving you, my family. Missing you, all the things you do.
Not a day goes by, you don't cross my mind. If only my smile could be a mirror to what I feel inside. You promise you'll be with me, but I don't understand why. Lost in my memories, your embrace and love that I feel that will.
The book is on all platforms. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, all the rest. You could find it. It's Missing You. It's called Missing You, same name as the book. By Erica Lenda. I'll send it to you after. Don't worry about it.
No, this is amazing. And Erica, this story, everything was so edifying, and I know that your book is going to do wonderfully. I mean, it's already been doing well, but
Thank you so
even
much.
more. Yeah, so many blessings to you. And what we're going to do is we're going to share all the links. So you will find Erica's book on all of the platforms that she just mentioned, and you will also find it in the description so you can get it. Exactly. And I'll just ask you this just to end.
Yeah.
So, what's one bit of advice that you would give to writers who are trying to break into the children's book industry, writing in general, or just what bit of advice would you give them?
I'm sure you heard a lot, but to never give up. Because your dream may seem small, but you never know what life it may touch. And one thing I learned is that in terms of books and literature, there's always room for more. Always room for more. Never think that your book, if I bought this sweater, let's say, I don't know, let's say Tom made this sweater and I had an idea to put a sweater with a zipper on it. I'm like, nobody might not buy that because everybody buys Tom's sweater. Yeah, but what if somebody always lost their bank cards and they just wanted a little pocket just to stick everything in here and zip it up? And everybody has a need.
Yeah.
And this world is big. You
Yeah.
don't know who you'll be helping, when you'll be helping. Sometimes it might not happen right away. Like mine, to be honest, I'm not one to sit back and wait for things to come to me. And I think that's the reason why the book has been successful thus far, because it's not a good habit to practice, but I don't get much sleep. And it's because I have so many ideas going through my head. I'm always writing now.
Yeah.
It's once you start writing,
I
don't even want to show you how many books. I don't even want to show you how many books I have. Like I have a book for the business, and then I have like a journal book, and then I have a Post-its.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Once you start, it's yeah. Just don't stop. You have to commit to it, and don't be deterred by what anybody says, because your vision is your vision.
Wow. Well, everyone, that is Miss Erica London. Please get her book, Missing You. You will not be disappointed. And she's also a producer on Virtuous Entertainment TV network. So shout out to the network for which this is all possible. So
thank you very much.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us. This is awesome. And we will see you next time.
See you. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Erica.
All right.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter @A Knowing Spirit.